What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Investing Bros. This is a special edition morning live show. We are going live because all of the markets took another big dip last night, and I'm going to cover that for you guys and show you what you should be looking at next. Before we do that, though, you guys got to make sure you're smashing that like button, hitting subscribe so you don't miss a single piece of content, because this is the Bros, and we got to roll the intro. All right. Before we get going, I want to address maybe anyone who could be watching this who's going to come in with a little bit of a downward attitude, or maybe someone who is confused. I am sure there's going to be a plethora of people commenting saying, well, just yesterday, Tim, you guys had a live stream that said we were breaking out to the upside. Anyone who is saying that and thinking that now that we're talking about the dip means that we're going back and forth clearly did not watch last night's live stream. All of you who did, while I was acknowledging what was happening with pumping to the upside, if you watched the stream, did I not talk about the watch out for the fake out opportunity, that we could look at prices go even lower? And yeah, now that's exactly what we do see is happening. I'm going to go ahead and just get right into the meat and potatoes of what I want to talk to you guys about today. Yesterday, yes, we had a very, very big bullish candle. I'm going to be honest with you guys, this candle surprised me. And because I'm open to being wrong, while I thought that price would go ahead and come down closer to 64.4 before a bounce and possibly even make its way back down to 60K before the real bullishness took over, I said, you know what? There's a lot of bullish momentum on that candle. I have to be open to the possibility that this could be a bullish breakout and we could continue to the upside. Well, sure enough, though, I told you guys, watch for us. If we drop back down below that blue line of resistance, that would just be the second fake out in the last couple of weeks. Sure enough, that's exactly what it was. Ultimately, I think this was just a bunch of shorts being liquidated because the markets needed a little bit of movement. But do you know what that does tell me? I want to make sure I start off the show by saying this. I tweeted this out as well. I'm not convinced that the dip is over. I'm not convinced. We haven't quite touched my purple line right here, which I've talked about now for a while. I'm not convinced we even bounce on that purple line. I think there's a decent chance that Bitcoin probably ends up going lower. No, I don't know 100%. I just kind of have a hunch. With that being said, though, I do believe that the dip is a lot closer than most people want to believe. I think there's a lot of people right now freaking out about what price action is doing all across crypto. And the truth is there are a lot of signs that we could be about to go to the upside. We just might have a little bit more to the downside left. And to talk about that, before I go deeper into the TA, I just wanted to start here with you guys, but I want to go into a couple of articles and then we'll bounce back over and take a look at a couple different coins. First article, this is the question everyone's asking this morning. Why is crypto market down today? Could Bitcoin crash to 55K? All right, well, it says imminent, but I changed it up a little bit. You get my point. That is, I think, a very, very big question people are asking right now. Let's get into why is Bitcoin down in the first place? And then we'll kind of crack into what's going to happen next. All right, let me zoom in for you guys. The crypto market sell-off was triggered by Bitcoin losing upside momentum due to factors such as macroeconomics. We had the FOMC here last week, minor capitulation, Bitcoin ETF outflows, and lack of new stablecoin issuance, right? So this is going to be the main reason people are going to blame for Bitcoin's price going down. Macroeconomics, Jerome Powell did not say what we thought he was going to say. Minor capitulation, meaning there's a lot of miners who are selling. And then, of course, Bitcoin ETF outflows. Before I continue, let's go back to the chart here. I want to make sure you guys understand this from a grander perspective. All three of those things have been smacking us in the face now for about a week. And yet, price is down, yes, but it's still above 64,000. When you zoom out here and you look at the long-term perspective of Bitcoin price, the reason why I think the bottom is closer than you think is because those three things are bearish. Yes, we didn't want a hawkish Jerome Powell. Yes, we don't like it when miners have to sell. Yes, we don't like it when the ETFs are outflowing. However, Despite all of that negativity, price is only down roughly 11% from the all-time high. I want you guys to really think here. Is this really that crazy bearish? Because people that have a lot of money, whale investors, they look at this and say, wow, this is so hilarious that all of these cute new investors are freaking out about an 11% dip. They're freaking out about price breaking below 65,000 when in reality, this is nothing. This is just a normal Tuesday. Look at the volatility in Bitcoin's past during bull markets. After hitting bottoms of bear markets, lots of volatility in play, even in the heat of the bull market. These are just normal things that happen during healthy pullbacks. I'm going to talk more about this. Again, I'm going to give you more reason to be bullish here, but let's just keep going in this article. That's the main reasons. And before I move on, actually, macroeconomics, Jerome Powell, he wasn't as hawkish as a lot of people want you to believe. He actually implied there will be cuts coming. He just said, I can't guarantee more than one. Guess what? There's still a lot of reason to suspect we're probably going to see by the end of December. Right now, highest probability, there's a decent chance we still get two. That's the highest probability right now to have two rate cuts before the end of the year, despite the fact that Jerome Powell didn't say that. However, CME is still pricing that in. I want you guys to understand that. Let's keep moving on, though, in this article. Macro and geopolitical factors are behind the latest slump, despite a cooling U.S. CPI and PPI inflation data, meaning the inflation is coming down, giving us an easier ability to cut rates. The Fed officials adhere to the FOMC's decision as a single rate cut this year. Kind of just reference that. That's what they're saying, a single rate cut. I don't know if I fully believe them just yet, but we'll have to let the rest of the year play out before we can make too many judgments there. Now, there's some links here, so I'm going to read it to you. It's kind of highlighted. Meanwhile, Spot ETF has recorded 3 consecutive outflows on Monday. The net outflows from Spot to Bitcoin ETF was about $146 million. This significant movement indicates a shift in sentiment among investors. Before I keep going there, I want you guys to understand ETF buyers are new investors as well. Ultimately, I think what we're mostly discussing is probably people buying ETFs somewhere in this region when everything was so fun, when we were hitting not only new highs for the bull market itself, but new highs for Bitcoin in general. Do not be surprised if, I don't even know how this data could be tracked, but if in reality, the people selling off right now are simply the newer investors, the weak hands, because they don't like what's happening. They thought they were going to get instant return on their investment, and that's not happening. Guess what? They're going to capitulate. They're going to sell right into the hands of the long-term holders who know what Bitcoin volatility looks like. When I see this and I see people saying, ETFs are selling off, watch out. That doesn't mean a lot to me because ultimately the ETFs are still so brand new and there's still so many people on the sidelines that will jump in later. I'm not that worried about that argument in the slightest. Let's keep moving on, though. Here's a good reason. One of the reasons why 55K could potentially be in the cards and why there is, we talked about yesterday, maybe a manipulation or a cap being put on Bitcoin right now. As CoinGate reported, over 100K Bitcoin options of notable value, 6.5 billion, are set to expire on June 28th. So about 10 days from today. Per the largest derivatives exchange, Deribit, with a put-call ratio of 0.50 and the max pain point of $55,000. It indicates Bitcoin price may continue to remain under selling pressure until then. What is that saying? All right, guys, there is here at 55K. Let's just put a line down here. Let's just kind of get closer there. As long as Bitcoin's price stays above this for the next 10 days, this will remain bullish. If price drops below it, then we have a little bit of a problem. But you guys can see it a long way away from that point. However, this is something that the long-term whales and institutions love to do. They love to suppress price and make people consider selling the closer we get to this level of max pain, simply so they can shake them out of their lunch money, steal their supply, and then move to the upside. So why are we being pulled down right now? From a manipulative standpoint, it's because we are so overwhelmingly bullish for the next 10 days. We got to pull back just a little bit to make things interesting. I mean, it's not even close right now how bullish we are compared to this options expiry. They're going to probably want to pull it back just a little more, make things interesting, try to scare out more retail investors once again so they can buy the dip before the real explosion happens. Let's keep moving on here. Bitcoin price currently trades at 60. That's not accurate because it's a little farther down. However, Trading volume has increased by more than 100% in the last 24 hours, indicating a rise in interest among traders. Ooh, volume rising after a dip a lot of times is getting not maybe pinpointing the bottom, but means the bottom is getting close. So that's an important more important detail to keep in mind. Volume is increasing. Last thing here on this article, experts claimed election year and current geopolitical conditions make both Bitcoin and gold desirable for investors. This is something we already know. We already know there's a lot of framework for this election cycle to be very bullish for Bitcoin. Once again, why are we dipping? Because the institutions know it. The long-term whales know it, so that they can buy some Bitcoin on discount and they can convince retail investors to sell their supply. It's just, I'm going to say it over and over again, but it's going to set in for you guys eventually. Price going down does not mean bull market is over. It is simply something that happens during healthy bull markets. Long-term whales use for an excuse to buy discounted Bitcoin. This is still all bullish. Just you want to get into more reasons why we should be bullish right now, and we're going to come back to the charts. We're at minute 11 here. I really only want to be live for about 10 minutes here, 20 minutes here. Sorry. KV said, bye, guys. Good chance of 63, 64 at the bottom for the next 1 to 2 months. Just bought my chain link at 1350 for a long term. I hope I made a good move. We'll talk more altcoins this afternoon. A lot of altcoins, just so you guys know, if you guys have been watching my channel, especially the last couple of days, they're hitting a lot of levels. I told you that I thought they would, even though yesterday gave us a little bit of a thought that we were rallying. A lot of altcoins doing what I told you they would do. But again, we'll talk about that this afternoon. Do not have time this morning. Let's get back into it. Bitcoin whales on the rise. Number of wallets holding 10 or more Bitcoins are increasing. I want to show you guys this chart right here. Now, what we're symbolizing here, this is wallets that hold more than 10 Bitcoin. Just quick math, guys. 10 Bitcoin means these are people that own $640,000 worth of Bitcoin, right? That's a lot of money. Those are not poor people owning this. These are smart, more often than not, long-term holders. But guess what? The number just surpassed where we were back in 2022, right before the great collapse of FTX. What was one of the biggest catalysts of the bear market that made people really not like Bitcoin that much, or crypto in general? It was all of the corruption that was exposed from the FTX exchange. And then you guys can see on the charts, the number of people who had their high faith in Bitcoin plummeted. The number of charts with 10 Bitcoin or more plummeted after that news. Guess what, guys? We are growing more and more and more. This is not the sign of a bear market. This is not the sign of a bull market at its end. It's the sign of just getting going because the whales are loading up. We keep moving on. Another big thing happened here. 12,700 Bitcoin. They were purchased in 24 hours. Excuse me. They're actually moved here in the last 24 hours. What's happening? Let's get into some of the details here. According to top market analyst Ali Martinez, a total, let me zoom in here a little more. I want to make sure you guys can see it. A total of 12,700 Bitcoin were sent to accumulation addresses in the last 24 hours. This sum is worth about $840 million, and it mirrors data insights from crypto analyst platforms into the block that shows an uptick in large transactions. So the number of wallets holding 10 or more Bitcoin is increasing. We're also seeing a continuation of Bitcoin being moved off of exchanges and moved into wallets that traditionally hold for a very long time. If you're newer to Bitcoin, I want you to think with me critically. If Bitcoin is in a place that's very hard to sell it, does that mean price go up or price go down? 3, 2, 1. Price. If you said price go up, you were correct. If I'm making it so I cannot sell it, that means I believe that the next couple months, maybe next year, is extremely bullish. I don't even want to risk an exchange crashing or some glitch on the internet takes my Bitcoin. I'm going to move it into an accumulation address, probably a cold wallet like Arculus right here, a sponsor of our channel, the best cold wallet in the world. This is the way you secure your Bitcoin. And what we're reading here is, I'm not saying that necessarily people are using Arculus wallet. They might be, but they're moving it into something like an Arculus wallet to protect it long term. If you want to protect your Bitcoin long term, check out the link down below. Click on it. Use the code BROZ10, BROZ10, and you can get 10% off. My overall point here is that we are still seeing whales. Despite price going down, whales continue to make moves and decisions that say, I'm not worried about this dip. In fact, I'm just adding more. And all the while, I'm moving this off of exchanges into my cold wallet accumulation bag because I'm going to sit back, going to drink my sweet tea for the next year while all the retail investors freak out about the small price movements. All the while, I'm just going to sit around and wait for it. Let's go back, though, and let's take a look at the charts. I want you guys to keep an eye on what's happening. I kind of gave you a lot of reason right there to continue to be bullish long term. However, with that said, we got to take a look at the short-term charts. I told you guys this purple line right here around our blue smart trail on the 4-hour chart, I expected us to come down. And while we haven't officially touched it, got super close this morning. We did get to about 64,500. I don't think the dip is over. If I were to go over here and show you guys high block, take a look at the liquidity down below us. We took out a little bit this morning, but there still is a good stack right here at 64.4. And then if you watch here, there's a lot of liquidity that would take us down below 61,000 as well. Now, there's a good stopping point at 60K. I do believe Bitcoin could defend 60K. If not, there is some liquidity down here at about 55,000. I kind of mentioned that, but watch right here as we get closer to 60K, around 61, a big, fat, extremely bullish order block is in place. This is the level that we're currently under a sell order here on Lux Algo that we could hit our take profit number 1. But you know what else this is right here? Let me turn off Lux Algo for a second. This is a longer term ascending triangle pattern. What am I talking about right here? Well, we keep hitting our heads around 72. Yes, we had a couple candles go above it here in March. Yes, we had a wick over here in April. But as a whole, we've rejected on this $72,000 region once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times, right? So we keep hitting our heads in it. However, if you come back over here till February, we have a rising level of support. And if Bitcoin were to come and touch this level around $61,000 to $60,000, there's 2 major bullish things that would happen here. Bullish thing number 1, ascending triangle formation, flat top, rising support. Guess what the breakout prediction for this formation would be when we eventually break to the upside? This would call for Bitcoin's price to go over $100,000 to about 102,000. So that's a major bullish formation that's still in play, despite the fact that over the next couple of days, we could see price drop back down to 60K. The other thing that you might have seen, and someone actually, Ada Ace in our community, our Discord pointed this out. Look what we have going on over here, guys. We had a nice pullback over here in March that made a nice looking left shoulder. A big pullback down here in May makes a nice head. And if price ends up bouncing again around 60,000, 61,000, that would form a very good looking right shoulder, making this an inverse head and shoulders pattern. Well, this is going to be a little less bullish than necessarily what the other one is, but this is still a very bullish breakout of eventually calling for a price action somewhere right above 90,000 at $92,500. What is my overall point here? Yes, if you zoom in, if I were to come down to the 1-hour chart and I'm looking at candles like this, yes, it's very easy to feel discouraged and to feel like, man, I need to get out of this asset. We're continuing to go to the downside. But when I zoom out and I look at things like the weekly chart, the daily chart, I see that that triangle forming. I see the inverse head and shoulders forming. I see the whales buying and accumulating and moving things off of centralized exchanges. To me, this is continuing to scream bullish price action. The only explanation, they want to take my Bitcoin, so they're going to manipulate me into emotionally selling to them at the very bottom of these moves. They're going to take that dip, they're going to buy it, and they're going to make money long term. No, I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to continue to hold on. I'm going to find the best way I can to grab more fiat. We call it mining fiat. Work harder at your job, maybe pick up a side gig, maybe go drive Uber, pick up as much cash as you can to throw into crypto on these dips because the bull market is so far from over. The last thing I wanted to show you before I let you go, take a look at this, guys. Bitcoin dominance continuing to climb. We broke up above 56% this morning. I told you guys, Bitcoin dominance, I did not think was done rallying. There's 2 reasons it can rally, though. Sometimes when everything pulls back, like it's doing right now, we see Bitcoin rally. But historically, as we make our last-ditch efforts before alt season, as Bitcoin dominance rallies its last bit, this actually is the beginning of the bull market, the beginning of the explosive second leg of the bull market, I should say. Watch for Bitcoin and altcoins to continue to drop here. Don't be surprised to see Bitcoin dominance maybe make its way up to 57, maybe 58, and hesitate. But then watch Bitcoin take off. New all-time highs coming. Altcoins will trickle behind. Bitcoin dominance goes to or above 60%. And then true altcoin season coming later this year, quarter 4 of 2024. This Bitcoin dominance chart, after climbing above 60%, is going to fall off of a cliff. And that will be when all those altcoins you guys have been storing, those nuts you've been storing away for winter, are going to make you a buttload of money. Just got to stick around for a little bit, guys. Continue to hodl. Do not FUD out. Do not sell your crypto to a local whale who wants to make a lot of money. Stay strong. The bull market is nowhere close to being over. If you guys enjoyed this live stream, you got to smash that like button and hit subscribe so you don't miss a single piece of content we're putting out here. For those who want to hear more about altcoins, come back at 3 p.m. We'll have another live show. I will go altcoin crazy for you guys. Lots of TA. But with that said, that's all I have for you in today's morning stream. You guys have a fantastic day. Adios.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news, got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.